Now, what are some of the challenges of LDMs? What are some of the challenges of LDMs? So the first one is lack of transparent communication. Lack of transparent communication is one of the most difficult things when it comes to LDMs. Lack of transparent what communications. Um, so there is a kind of narrative drift when it comes to communications. I mean, communications is a very, very powerful tool, but as soon as uh, there is a long distance marriage, one of the challenges is that there is this communication drift that is kind of you will have to go extra mile in your communication, extra mile to talk because all your communications are more of based on text messages and videos. And the communication sometimes become very, very dry. It starts decaying. It will be like, how was your day? What did you do? What did you eat? And all those kind of conversations. It's become more transactional rather than emotional, rather than that physical or playful interaction. Did you do laundry today? How was laundry? How was work? How was this? That is how it's going to be. So it's kind of more of what transactional. There's that deep sense of belongingness is not really felt when it comes to what communication. So there's this kind of lack of what transparency, a whole lot of things that you also need to look at. Again, the next point is surveillance or trap or mistrust. So there's kind of one person trying to play some trying to check up on, okay, let me do some surveillance on him. Is he okay? Is everything fine? There's mistrust. Okay, there's this, you are just overly thinking about it. You are paranoid. Okay, so who is there with him? Okay, he did not reply my text. Is he okay? Is everything fine? Kind of insecurities. If the person does not reply quickly, you're like, okay, who is there with him or who is there with her? Why hasn't she replied the text? Is she all right? And sometimes maybe you do a video call and somebody just walk past, who is this person? And there's just a lot of overthinking and you become too paranoid about small things where you can really amend it. So, and there's a lot of insecurities as well. And this can also affect, and we can also see some partners even trying to micromanage their own spouses or micromanage their partners. They are trying to attempting to, I mean, check on how best they can close out these paranoid. So sometimes they are just scanning through their social medias. They are looking for their schedules and tracking their locations. They are so obsessed about what they are doing. When last did they come on TikTok? When last did they come on Instagram? When last did they show up here? And I mean, it is a whole lot of stress and it can suffocate. It can what suffocate what the marriage. So it is my prayer that you will also will look at that aspect before. If it is not something that is, I mean, mandating you to do it, but it's something you can avoid as we go on, you will see it is better. It is better to be together for you to be able to have this what relationship. But if it is a military repatriation, what can you do? That is where we'll tell you what to do. The next one is emotional connection is neglected. Also, there is also lack of what emotional connections. So both parties' emotions are really neglected because you see, when there's scientists have, even if you look at behavioral specialists or if you look at uh, even those who do human science or study behaviors, prolonged eye contact also shows kind of love. So as the two of you are talking and looking into each other's eyes, you are staring some kind of love inside the two of you. So I mean, you're talking on camera. It's different from talking what face to face. So there is no physical touch and there is nothing like eye contact. There is that stuff. You starve yourself of these what romantic bonds. So it affects the individual. We can project into what loneliness. It can project into emotional isolation, which eventually can also affect the family. Now that we have looked at uh, challenges. There's so many challenges, but because of time, we want to narrow it down to this, and then we can now take some questions. So let's look at how to help LDMs, that is long distance marriage. The